All righty. So, main event time. And I was scared of this one, Brian, because Solo Sikoa versus Sheamus, they rang the bell with 20 minutes left on the air. And I'm thinking, my God, I hope they're not going to go 20 minutes in this match. Before we talk about the match, did you notice all night they were saying the Cajun Dome in Louisiana? We're at the Cajun Dome in Louisiana. And that's another, I heard that Vince was changing matches and pulling segments, and that's another Vince thing. As I remember my geography, the Cajun Dome is in Lafayette, Louisiana. Is it not? What town were they in? The specific city in the state of Louisiana were they in?
I believe it's in Lafayette, but I don't know if they said that on the show.
Exactly, because Vince he doesn't want to say the name of a fucking town that he thinks sounds podunk or too small to host a national television program. So everybody has to jump through hoops to figure out some kind of way to write the chyron, the identifier where we are, the graphic, or to say it. And sometimes he likes the name of the arena, or didn't they do Greater New York or the New York metropolitan area for someplace in New Jersey or something?
There was something like that. I was going to say upstate New York. There was something like that.
But the point is, if he thinks so the Cajun Dome sounds great, but why does Lafayette, Louisiana have that much heat? Right? It's a fucking recognized town. They're big enough to have the Cajun Dome. Seems like they could have a TV show, but that's another Vinceism. When you see the town not identified that they're in, Vince don't like it. Anyway, speaking of not liking something, they worked hard. They started hot. They kept it up. They went back and forth. There was no long heat or big major comebacks or whatever. It was good, stiff stuff. But did you like the match?
I'm not a big Sheamus guy, and I like Solo when he's used more as an enforcer or maybe a tag team partner. It was all right, I guess. I didn't particularly love it. I'm not going to watch it again ever.
A lot of flat-footed kicking and punching. But anyway, the finish was basically Solo spiked Sheamus, and he took the bump through the ropes to the floor, and so that way he couldn't be pinned in the ring. But Solo goes out and rock bottoms him on the desk, and then sets him sitting down in front of the barricade, and gets a running charge and turns around and gives him the ass in the face through the barricade. And the referee immediately calls it. He says, Sheamus is out. He's not able to continue. The doctors come and check on him. The agents are out there immediately. Think of what we've seen done to people. And think of how long they've sold it down like they were fucking dead. Like they were ready to be laid out and have words spoken over them. And it takes however long for the referee to catch up. Hey, this guy might not be breathing anymore, but this guy takes an ass in the face and boom. So, okay. But they got to get a reason to get the Usos out there. So as Solo is trying to fight the doctors off from helping Sheamus, Usos music plays and they get a big pop. And here they come, and each of them hits a super kick on Solo and then a double super kick. And they leave Solo flat, and they menace Heyman. And he somehow manages to get off the ring and out without tipping it over and get out of there. And then they kick Solo again and give him a double splash off the opposite top turnbuckles. So poor Solo took the brunt of that. But the Usos are back in town, and that's where we went off the air.
What do you think? Was that a satisfactory ending to this episode of SmackDown?
Well, they're promoting a tag team match, and one of the guys wasn't there. And I know the limitations with Roman, but that is a problem when your biggest star in the company doesn't make all the TVs and the main event of the pay-per-view, for all intents and purposes, the main event of Money in the Bank is this tag team match. And, so the two baby faces got to beat up one heel. But yeah, okay. But I mean, they can't all be winners. It wasn't the revelation of a bloodline defection or shocking, turn of events, but you can't do that every week or it becomes obviously normal. So this was what it was. Yeah.
What is Roman doing? I mean, we heard that he wanted to go to Hollywood. Has he gone to Hollywood? Is he making anything? Where is he?
Yeah, he's there. He's got an apartment now on Wilshire Boulevard. He's just hanging out, goes to the pool a lot every day. I don't know what he's fucking doing. It's not my week to watch him. But if he's not actively acting in a movie, it seems like he ought to be at TV every week. And it seems like they could afford, now that they're worth $9 billion, to fucking pay him to be at TV every week, doesn't it?
You would think if he's pulling in the numbers that he's pulling in, they would want that there as often as possible.
Yeah, well, you've raised a good statement there, though, or a good question. In term, yes, we understand why when The Rock was shooting all these movies, he couldn't come back and be on, or Cena, or Austin at one point, or whatever. But Roman, I want to do a lot of things, but since I'm not able to, I'm right here talking to you. So I'm wondering what Roman's doing that he can't come to TV all the time. Okay, let's say he got a deal that says I only have to make X amount of dates. Well, now that every time he shows up, the ratings go through the roof, wouldn't you be talking to him about some more fucking dates?
Maybe his agent says that he has to meet all these famous casting directors, or all these big casting directors, on a Friday afternoon and evening.
Well, that's why he always gets to the show when it's about an hour and a half over with. That's why he's always late, but he's still there. When they pull up for a live television show at 9:30 and the show goes off the air at 10 o'clock, is that not some kind of tip-off that it was prearranged? Because after all, with traffic, you never know.
That was Smackdown.
What do you know, Brian? What do you know? What does the Arcadian Vanguard family of podcasts know? What's going on this week?
Another fine week of programming on the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network. Get information about all the shows on Twitter at Superpodcasts, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Arcadian Vanguard. A few notes. Of course, the wrestling news. Every day, get your free wrestling daily newscast every morning. Wake up and find out everything that's happened. No opinion, no conjecture, no star ratings, just the wrestling news. Get it today wherever you find your favorite podcast. Look for Arcadian Vanguard's The Wrestling News, or get it directly from thewrestlingnews.com. A few other notes. This week, coming up on Breaking Kayfabe with Baldwin and Barry, their guest will be Dottie Curtis. Coming off her appearance on Dark Side of the Ring, hear more stories about the classic days of championship wrestling from Florida. Eddie Graham, Don Curtis, and so much more. At BaldwinPod.com, or look for Breaking Kayfabe with Baldwin and Barry, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And of course, the 605 Superpodcast, The Mothership! Go through the archives today at 605pod.com. They're available wherever you find your favorite podcasts. The 605 Superpodcast, The Mothership.
All right, Mother.